2019.
2019. When date, month, and everything.
The hands here. It's first June 2019.
June.
No, first January.
January. Okay. So immediately you do that. You write it down. 20. Is that 29th? 28th.
Yes, 28.
So this is important. So you must immediately write it down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much important. So you must immediately make sure that you write it down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously that is the end date.
Yes.
So you must also decide on the commencement date. So if we end it here, when do you think we are going to start the year?
1st March 2018.
1st March 2018. So this is very much important. So we have to make sure that we have this. This is very much important. So this is how you need to analyze. I think this is what you must be doing all along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So normally I prefer students to go and check the requirements because sometimes from the information you can be given too much information and then you are confused about the dates. Always try to find the dates from the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no problem. We can go back to the question. So far we did highlight the fact that we are at this business and thereafter this our financial year. So what I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna start with the accounts before we can go to the general ledger because I realize that if before we can go to the general journal, because students tend to confuse the two. What do you think? Can we start with the general ledger?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna focus mainly on this question. I'm just gonna focus on all I have here. Can you see now? So firstly, I'll need to make sure that I check the balances. They gave me the balances here. Can you see this? There's a balance for vehicle here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see there's no date next to it like this one?
Yes.
So meaning this one we need to be careful because if they don't show the date next to it,
Mm-hmm.
it means the date is the one on top. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it means, remember, I'm still at the beginning. I'm still here at the beginning. Remember here, I'm at the beginning. I'm still here. I'm still here at the beginning. So I only need the balances at the beginning. But if you can check the vehicle, the date is here. So I can't use that one for now before I check the other information. Are we together?
Mm-hmm.
So what I need to do, I cannot just put this as a balance. I must go and check, is there any other information that affects vehicles here?
Yes.
Can you see now?
The
So
second
if we
one.
check, yes, so we must check the vehicle. So what I'm gonna check whether I bought a new vehicle or I sold a new vehicle. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I bought, it means this amount already includes that one that I bought. Unless if they state otherwise. Let's go and check.
Mm-hmm.
Here they talk about the depreciation here. I don't have to do anything because they just say depreciating, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But here they say on the 1st of September, a new vehicle was purchased on credit from the above. And they said the transaction has been what? Recorded.
Recorded.
Does that make sense? So meaning
Yes.
this vehicle of 430 is part of that 870.
Mm-hmm.
And the date is when? The 1st of
September.
September. No problem, at least I found this one. So I know it is included there. So what I remember, the reason why I must know this is because I want to know the vehicle on the 1st of March, not on the 1st of September. So it means I must come and minus the one that I added already here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No problem. So it means already I know that I'm gonna come here. For now, I know I'm gonna come here and minus 430. Why must I come and minus 430? Let me change the color here so that can be. Just wanna change the color. So I'm gonna minus 430. So let's try and choose it. So I'm gonna minus 430 there. I think you understand the reason why I minus, because this 430 has already been added, but I don't need it. I need the balance at the beginning. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's go and
It's
check the other information.
82. Mhm.
Yes. So we must check, because sometimes you can find that we bought something. Okay. So let's go and check from the information whether we bought something or not, or we sold. We know that we bought, and now we must check and whether we bought or we sold. Okay. Let me just do this. Sorry, man, from my side. So I'm just trying to work with the system. It's still moving around, so I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Now, on the 1st of January 2019, a vehicle with the original purchase price of 440 was sold. Can you see here we sold the vehicle here?
Mhm.
But what did they say? They said the transaction has not yet.
Not been recorded.
So this one I won't worry about it because it's not recorded there already. So I'm only worried about what? The one that I bought.
Mhm.
So meaning the balance of the vehicle when I started was 870 minus 430. How much was it? If you use your calculator.
It's 82.7 triple zero.
000, né? So that is the balance of the vehicle that I'm gonna open. So I'm gonna open a vehicle account. So I'm just gonna go there and say vehicle. Okay. And then where must I put the balance according to you? Which side, debit or credit?
Debit.
Debit. So I'm obviously I think you know how we write it. We write it as 2018, eh?
Yes.
But because of space, okay, let me just write it like this. 2018, March the 1st. Let me make it a bit smaller. I need to fit 12. Okay. So I'm just trying to fit it here so that. And then this was going to be my balance brought down. I think you know by now. Balance brought down. And then how much is that balance? You said 82.
82.7 triple zero.
82. Come again.
82.7 triple zero.
82,700,000. 827,000. Okay. Okay. So I
Mhm.
just understand how I got this 82. I think you understand how we got it. Okay.
Yes.
So don't just let's say put the balance. You must check. You must double check those balances. Okay. Can you see if you're not
Okay.
careful, you'll end
So
up recording eight.
the the balance that we put in the general ledger must always be for the start year, not the end.
Yes. No, can you see what I want you to double check the calculation there. Just double check the calculation again. The one
Okay.
that you did.
Mhm. Oh no, it's double four.
Yes.
Double four, 10 and then 000.
Double four or 440,000.
Yes.
44.
0000.
I don't get it. Let me just try this side. Because I'm not sure it's 44,000 or she said 444,000. I'm not sure.
You can send it on the chat.
It's 440.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the, yeah, that's the balance that we need to have. And then let's go and put, I want us to put the balances like for accumulated. Can you see for accumulated here, they give us the balance on the 1st of what? March. Are you still with me?
Yes.
So for accumulated, they give us the balance. Let me do this. Just want to lose something. Let's put so where do you think I must put accumulated first? Under which side?
The accumulate depreciation. Okay.
Yeah. So let me just. I'm gonna go and
Under debit side.
under
Debit.
debit side. So remember, accumulated is a negative asset.
Okay.
So it must go to the credit side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna open accumulated depreciation. On the vehicle. Okay, so remember, I said we call it what? A negative asset, ne?
Yes.
So because of space, ne, I'm just gonna write, I think you'll understand. Let me just write the date as the first, ne? So for the sake of space. And I'm gonna put it, as long as you understand it's the 1st of March. I'm gonna put balance brought down. How much is it? Balance brought down. Is the one that from the, just check the balance there. I don't wanna go back in.
83,600.
600. Yeah. So those are the first thing that you need to do. Can you see now? So those are the first thing that you need to do. Can you see now? You put the balances first. The balance is given to you. Remember, for now I'm just focusing on what? On the vehicle. Okay.
Yes.
No problem. Okay. So that's the first step. So you need to be careful. Just make sure that you check the additional information because this balance can include figures which have taken place during the year. Okay. Now let's take it further now and just go and check the information because we put the balances. Okay. So if we take it further, and they're talking about, remember, we are focusing only on the vehicle for now. Okay. So they say they are depreciable. I think you understand. They say the method of depreciation is, which method do we use? Diminishing.
Diminishing balance.
Yes. So I think you know how to depreciate using those methods. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. They say on the 1st of September, a new vehicle was bought on credit. That is the one that, you know, that we were talking about. Remember, for 430. So we need to go and show this on the 1st of what? Of September. So in other words, under which side of the vehicles do you think I must go and record?
Debit side.
On the debit side, I must go to the vehicle on the debit side. And then we're going to say the 1st of September. Ne?
September. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say September because of, I'm just going to say September the 1st. And then, so you bought on credit. What do you think right here? Think about account equation. When you bought your vehicle on credit, what are the two accounts?
Creditor journal.
Not journal. You're correct, but not creditors journal. Creditors what?
Creditors control.
Creditors control.
Yes.
And then the journal that we use for this one, we use GJ. Okay.
Yes.
And then how much was the cost price? Is that one for 430? Okay. Can you see now? And at the same time, I'm gonna, because remember we're just doing everything. Eh? So at the same time, we're gonna open the creditors because they can ask you anything in the test. Okay. So I'm gonna quickly open creditors control. And then under which side do you think I'm gonna record? Yes.
Excuse me, sir. How do we know that we are opening this account, this account, this account? Are we just opening all the accounts that are mentioned in the question, or how do we do?
Remember, because this is not exam. If you were writing exam, we're supposed to only let me go back. Only open this. Can you see they only wanted what? They only wanted asset disposal. Can you see here? But remember, the reason why I'm doing everything is because you never know what are they gonna ask you. And then you must know how are they related, because even if they ask you for one account, this one account will be affected by the other account. That's why for now I'm just doing everything possible. I don't know if maybe you want me to focus only on this one account.
No, we can open everything, but I wanted to know if I must also open all the accounts in the test.
No, you don't have to open unless if you just wanna open them as a quick calculation so that they can help you to transfer. But you must be fast, because if you open all of them and then they only wanted one account, they give you only time for one account.
Okay.
You understand? So you must know how are they related, because you can't open all of them. So I could just open only asset disposal so that I can show you how. Can you see they only want asset disposal? But what if they ask you the other accounts? Because in the exam they're gonna ask you. You don't know whether they're gonna ask you asset disposal or the other accounts. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So that's why I'm open creditors, and I know there's no way I open creditors because I saw creditors control here. So under creditors control, under which side must I go and record this amount?
Credit.
On the credit side. Okay, I'm gonna write September the 1st. And then what would be the contra account that I'm gonna record? I'm gonna write here under details.
Vehicle.
Thank you so
Is it
much.
gonna be vehicle?
Vehicles, né? And then obviously the general will be the same. General. And how much is the cost, by the way?
Um, 4,000. 4,000.
You said it for that cheap, 4,000. It is 4,000. The cost price.
For
The
the
cost of
creditors
the
and
asset. Yeah, like when we bought the asset, just check there on that information where they say we bought. We bought it for how much? 430, né?
430.
Not 4,000. I was surprised. Hey, 4,000 is too cheap. Okay.
Yes.
So if you've got any question, please ask me so far. What's the steps? So we need to know these things. You must know what to do when you read information. Do you understand how we recorded this? Do you understand this one?
Yes, I do understand.
No problem. Okay. Now, when we take it further, they say on the 1st of January, a vehicle 2019, a vehicle originally bought for 440 and had accumulated depreciation of 83,600 as at 1st of March was sold on credit.
Credit.
So the minute you see yourself selling an asset which you are having, which is the fixed asset, we call it non-current asset. The minute you see yourself selling it, you must think about an account called asset disposal because you are disposing that asset. Are we together?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go and open an account called asset disposal. So I must come here and call it asset disposal. Some books call it asset realization. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay. So you must open. So the asset disposal, remember, is the account that you only open for the asset that you sold. It's only for that purpose, only for the asset that you sold.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
And there are steps which you need to follow because this can be a bit confusing. So there are steps which you need to follow. So firstly, let's go back to the question. We sold on which day? Let me just go back there. We sold on the 1st of Jan 2019. It's better for us to make sure that we note that. Are we good?
Yes.
Now, so I'm gonna note this date, 1st of Jan. I'm gonna go and put it somewhere on my timeline. Remember, I had my timeline. Where do you think I must put 1st of January? Where is it? Somewhere? Is it in between or is it at the end or somewhere? Where can I put it? 1st of
At
January
the
2019.
almost at the end.
Almost at the end. Somewhere here, né?
Yes.
So I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna put it as what? 1st of Jan 2019. So this is where we sold the asset. Okay, it's very much important to know that. So this date is very much important. So the first step, there are steps to be followed. I don't know if maybe you can write them down. I don't know.
Okay.
The first step that we need to do is to transfer the costs Okay, let me just write it down for you. Steps. The steps for selling. Can you see what I wrote here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let me do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to put it nicely for you here. These are the steps for selling. The first step, like I said, what must we do? We need to transfer the cost of asset from the asset account to what? Realization account. Don't worry, I prefer to call it realization, but let me write it for you as what? As asset disposal. So that is the first step that we need to have. Can you see now? We transfer the cost of an asset from asset account to asset disposal. Obviously, when you are selling an asset, your asset must decrease.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
So what is the cost of the asset that we are selling? Go back. Let's go back and check. The cost of that asset is how much? If you check, what is the cost?
The one that you are selling.
Yeah, the cost. Yeah, must be the cost for now. The cost.
It's it um
Check the question. You will see they will tell you that is the cost. On the question, you will see they will tell you that is the cost. On the 1st of January, you sold. Just find the cost. The cost is the same as the purchase price. What is the purchase price of this asset? What is the cost price of this asset that I'm selling?
4,040, 42, 44.
That is 440,000.
You said the one, the 1st January 2019.
Yes, there's an asset that you sold. What is the cost of that? The original cost, the original purchase price of that asset.
Oh, 350.
350 is the selling price. If you sold it for 350. What is the original cost? Read the whole thing. The original cost is the same as the original purchase price. What is the cost of that asset? I want the cost only.
$440,000.
I wanted that. Because you said 44, I said no, because I wanted you to say to call it like, I don't know, today you sound a bit tired. I understand.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm
I
okay.
can see that you are pushing. Maybe after maybe 2 hours we take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know you like this. I know you are like that. So it's okay. Uh,
Yeah.
that is the first thing. So we need to go to the vehicle. We sold the vehicle. Where do you think we must go and record?
On credit.
Debit or credit? On the credit side. So I'm just gonna write. Okay, let me just see if I can fit everything there. I'm just gonna write January the 1st, ne?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think as long as you know that it's January, because I'm just trying to for space, ne? You know that it's 2019, ne?
Yes.
Yes. So what do you think will be the other account here that I must write the details here?
Is it
Let me give you
accumulate?
give you a plan. No, not depreciating now. Let me tell you something. As long as you are dealing with the asset that you are selling,
Uh-huh.
are you still with me? One
Yes.
account that will always be there will be asset disposal. Did you get what I said? So asset disposal, as long as you are still dealing with the asset that you are selling, will always be one of the accounts. You must only worry about that. Can you see now the two accounts are what? The two accounts are vehicle and what? Asset disposal.
Asset.
Are we together?
Yes.
So as long as you are still dealing with the asset that you are selling, don't stress. One account will always be asset disposal because you are selling. The other account you'll worry, but it's your own thing that you need to worry about. So obviously I said asset disposal. The other account is vehicle because I sold vehicle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that because I'm just because you are writing tomorrow. Obviously, I'm trying to just give you some of the shortcuts because I think this section needs time.
Oh yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
You see, but it makes sense the reason why we came here. Can you see if you give someone this account and ask them what's happening, they will understand that okay, we recorded on the credit side. It means we sold the asset disposed, is asset disposal. Can you see now? We sold it at a cost. Remember, this must be the cost. Here,
Okay.
this
This is the initial price of asset that we have.
we are selling here, that we are selling.
Okay.
And remember, here we only record costs. In the, can you see I wrote here? This vehicle must only be, all the figures which you see here are costs. You can't bring any other thing here. Everything that you see here must be the cost, not the value. There's a difference between the value of the asset and the cost of the asset. We only need what? Costs.
Cool.
This is a cost. 440 is the cost here.
Mm-hmm.
Are we together so far?
Yes.
Yes. So can we go to step number 2?
Yes.
Now, the step number 2 is where we deal with the. Remember, if you are selling an asset, obviously at the end of the day, that asset, remember, it has been losing value. What do you call the asset when the asset loses value? What do you call it?
Depreciation.
So you need to calculate depreciation from the date you bought it until the date you sold it. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you that step here. So the next step, what must you do? Step number 2, you need to update. Don't worry about this. Let me just delete this. So you need to make sure that you update the depreciation on the asset up to the date in which you have sold it. Remember, sometimes we don't sell it, we trade in. Do you know what is trade in?
No.
Sometimes when you sell an asset, it's like you need to buy another car. Let's say you want to buy a car, and you have got an existing car. You can take the car that you have and pay the new car with the old asset, and thereafter maybe pay the difference that you owe. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like here's my old car, I want a new car, and how much do I owe you after paying? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, I see.
Whether you sold or you trade in, the fact is you dispose the asset. It's the same thing, doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand my step number 2?
Yes.
So this is what we are going to do. So we need to go and check when did we buy that asset. So luckily here about this exercise, I'm gonna go back. If you check this exercise, they did give us. I'm just gonna go back there. Okay. Now they gave us accumulated depreciation. This is what I'm looking for. When it was this depreciation, accumulated means since we bought it until the beginning of the year. That is what we had. I don't know if it makes sense or not.
Okay.
Let me go back. This thing, keeps running. So it means on the they told us here. They said the first of what? They said accumulated depreciation. What is the date for that? They said 1st of what? March.
1st March 2018.
Meaning, since we bought this asset that we're selling, on the 1st of March, that was accumulated. I'm going to write it down so that I can have. It's 83,600.
Mm-hmm.
So it means here, according to them, here, the accumulated was 83,600.
Yes.
So this means if I sold that asset here on the 1st of March 2018, this was the amount that I was supposed to record in my accumulated depreciation. Remember, I'm talking about the depreciation for now. Can you see now?
Yes.
So now this is what I'm gonna do. But because I did not sell here, I sold here. Can you see now?
Mm-hmm.
I sold here on the 1st of Jan. So I need all the depreciation up to the date of sale. Can you see what I wrote here? Update depreciation on asset up till the date on which you sold. I sold here. It means I need to know how much is the depreciation from here to there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I need to calculate the new depreciation here, and then so that I can be able to know the total depreciation for this asset. Because at the moment, I only know the depreciation up to the 1st of March. I need to know the depreciation up to what? The 1st of January 2019. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to go and calculate. Remember, which method of depreciation are we using?
Diminishing balance.
Diminishing balance method. And what is the rule? What is the formula?
The first one we use the straight line, and then after that we start diminishing the balance.
But remember, this is not the first one. It has been bought long time ago. So it means you cannot use straight line. You only use straight line when it's still new. Is this asset still new?
No.
Yes, it's not new because that's why you have got accumulated depreciation. The minute you see the word accumulated, it means it has been depreciated several times.
Okay.
So it means what you must do now is to use the diminishing way. So you're gonna take what? What is the formula? You take
the balance amount, the initial amount
yes,
minus
and then
the accumulated depreciation amount.
yes. So for this asset, what is the initial amount that you're talking about? How much is it?
440,000.
And I'm gonna minus what?
83,600.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So this means when we come to this calculation, so we're just gonna say, let me put it here. So we're gonna say, how much is the cost? You said the cost is 440,
Yes.
one, 123 minus accumulated of 83,600. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then after doing that, you are going to, what is the percentage, by the way?
I think it's 10%.
10%. Next, the same as, yeah, 10% is the 10 over 100. But we need to check the period. From the 1st of March here, to the 1st of January 2019, how many months? Because we need to count those months.
Mm. 10.
10. So when I say divide by 10 over 12. Can you see how I did that? So I said 440 minus 83,600 because I'm using diminishing balance method times 10% times 10 over 12. 10 over 12 is from here, is from the beginning to the date of sale. Will you remember this?
Yes.
How much?
It's 29,700.
29,700.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yeah.
Like this, ne?
Yes.
Okay. $29,700. So that is the depreciation from the beginning to the end. But remember what we need the total depreciation. So what must we do now? We take this one that we had at the beginning, eh? We add this one because we want the total accumulated. So therefore, 83600 plus 29700, how much do we get?
Double one, double
Eight.
three, double zero.
Okay, just wait. You said 83,600, ne? Plus 29,700. How much? You said? Give it to me again.
Double one, double three, double zero.
Double one. Sorry, the system is a bit slow. You said double one, double three,
Yes.
and then
Double zero.
like this.
Yes.
So ask me a question. That is how you need to. That is step number 2. You need to check. Let's say, for example, ne, you bought this asset 10 years ago, like you said before. Ne? Remember, the first year you're gonna use the straight line method, like you said. Ne?
Yes.
And then the rest, each and every year for 10 years, you're gonna depreciate. But luckily here, they did depreciate for us until when?
1st of March.
What I need to do, I just have to know the period before I sold. This is what we found. Now we add them together. So the total accumulated from the date I bought it long time ago. I don't even know when did I buy it. Did they tell us on this question? I don't think so. No. So if they bought it 10 years ago, in other words, since that until now, until the date of sale, this is the value that the asset has. lost. This is the amount that I'm going to go and record in the books of accounts. Are you okay so far?
Yes.
So what do you think I'm gonna record? Where will I record this 113,300? Which account? What do we call this 113,300 first?
The accumulated depreciation. Accumulated
Accumulated
depreciation.
depreciation. So I'm gonna go and open an account called accumulated. I do have it, né?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see now? And then the question is, under which side of accumulated must I record?
On the debit side.
Under the debit side. Perfect, because I'm trying to take it out. So I'm gonna say Jen. Um, I'm gonna say Jen. Okay. The first. What will be the details?
Um, Vehicle
Remember, I told
depreciation.
you. Come again.
Vehicle depreciation.
Remember, I told you as long as you are. Remember, when we are following steps, as long I'm still gonna come to the depreciation. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you are selling, I told you that one account will always be there. As long as you are still dealing with the asset that you are selling, I told you about that account. What is that account?
Asset disposal.
Asset disposal. So I'm gonna say, as long as you are still following the steps, né?
Mm-hmm.
Just know that you're always gonna have asset disposal. Because you are not calculating depreciation for the year. So you are still accounting the asset that you are selling. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
That's why asset disposal will always be there. So these steps which I'm showing you at the moment will always have asset disposal in them.
Mm-hmm.
You see now? That is what step number 2.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know, before we continue there, any questions so far?
I think I'm still fine.
You're still fine for now, né?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to. I think we didn't. Can you see we said this one? We said I said this one. I think we forgot to transfer because here we said. Let's go back to the first one because I don't want us to leave them. This one. Remember we said asset disposal here.
Yes.
This one.
The first one. Yes.
We didn't transfer to the asset disposal. Under asset disposal, under which side must I transfer?
Under debit side.
On the debit side. So I'm gonna go to the asset disposal on the debit side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then the first is when we sold, né? And the details will be, what must I write under details?
Um,
From which account did you take it?
vehicle.
Vehicle. And then you must say GJ. How much does that cost, by the way?
Double one. No. The first one.
No, the cost.
4,40 40. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here we also set asset disposal here. It means we must go to asset disposal. Under which side must I go and transfer this amount?
To asset disposal. On the debit side.
Under?
On the
Under
debit
debit side.
side.
Why debit side? Because here it is on the debit here.
If we transfer them, we change. On the credit side.
Under the credit side.
Yes.
I'm going to come here. And then what is the details?
Accumulate depreciation.
Yes. Don't forget vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Accumulated depreciation vehicle. How much was that amount? 113. Can you see so far everything comes to asset disposal because I'm still selling the asset. I'm still giving the asset that I'm selling.
Mm-hmm.
But to come to asset disposal, it must be easy because in most cases you just rely on what you have on top. Can you see? You rely on what you did in this account. So as long as you can do everything correctly here, can you see now asset disposal? It went to asset disposal. Yeah. Asset disposal, it went to asset disposal. Are we together?
Yes.
Uh, let's go to the next one. I want us to go and talk about depreciation now.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the depreciation for, I'm just going to go and show you something. So are you okay? Okay, I think here we updated the asset. I think we must also transfer. Let me just do this so that it can make sense. Let's do something. So I'm just going to add some info here. Let's say and what we just did. Remember, after we updated, remember we have to transfer to what?
To
That's
accumulate
what we did to the asset
depreciation.
disposal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we did. So now remember you were talking about the depreciation there.
Mm-hmm.
So we did calculate depreciation for the year, and that depreciation for the year, how much was the one that we calculated? Remember this is the okay, let me write it down so that you can know. This 29,700 is the depreciation for the year.
Yes.
Why do I say it's for the year? It's the one that took place. Why do I say it's for the year? It's the one that took place. Remember, it took place within our year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we
Why
call
don't we
depreciation.
take the last one, that one here,
This one.
the 1133? Yes, because that one starts from the beginning of the year and ends at the end of the year.
No, this one, remember, this one, if you see the date at the beginning of the year, it means it doesn't come from this year, it comes from the other years.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why I call 29700 depreciation for the year, it means it was calculated within my year. Here, as long as it was calculated in between here, it is called what?
Depreciation of the year.
Is the one that, remember, where you are going to record under depreciation and gain under accumulated depreciation. Remember the one that you wanted to give me? I said no.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, now I must go and record what? 29700.
700.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I should have started with recording 29700 before I can come and record this one, but it doesn't change anything. So now I'm gonna depreciate for the year. So the depreciation for the year, the two accounts will always be what? Depreciation and accumulated what? Depreciation. Are we together?
Depreciation, yes.
Yes. So let me gonna go and show you how to do that. So we do have accumulated already. So we're gonna, let me open the depreciation, open depreciation account. So I'm gonna open depreciation here. So what is depreciation to you in business? Under which account? What is it? Is it an asset or is it an expense? Is it a liability? What do you think is depreciation?
Is an asset.
No, it's an expense.
Oh yeah.
Because that,
Expense.
yeah. So where do you think I'm gonna record that amount under depreciation?
On the credit side,
Why?
because it's an expense.
Where do expenses increase?
No, in the expense increase on the debit side, then it's gonna go on the debit side.
It's gonna go on the debit side. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the debit side. So this one, because it's the depreciation for the year, it doesn't matter. So the date is gonna take the date where the date at the end. So you just have to say February 28th, because if you are not, it is just depreciation for the year. Can you see now? So you just have to write it 28th, and then what will be the other account? What must I write under details according to you?
No, it's accumulated.
Accumulated?
Is it accumulated depreciation?
Yes, you're correct. Remember, as long as you are dealing with the depreciation for the year, so it means the two accounts will always be depreciation and accumulated. It doesn't matter which asset.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount is, remember, is that one that of where we for the year only, which is how much? 29,000.
29,700.
You know the reason why I did not write asset disposal here?
Why?
Because it doesn't matter whether you sold the asset or not. We are just checking the depreciation that was calculated during the period. Whether you sold or you still have it or not, it doesn't matter, as long as you have got the depreciation that you calculated during the year. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are we good?
Yes.
So it can be a bit confused. That's why I say this section obviously needs more time. I wish we met before, so that you can
Yeah.
master it. Something like that. Are you okay so far?
Yeah, I'm good.
Now, I think maybe just to make it easier for you now, maybe I can, on this step number 2, let me just insert step number 3, like, because I don't want you to learn everything. Let me separate them so that maybe they can make sense. But let's say here, Maybe say step number 3, so I don't want to confuse you. Because I don't want to put 2 steps at the same time. So can you see, maybe here is when you deal with the depreciation for the year and thereafter you transfer. I think it will make sense like that. But don't worry. For now, don't worry. As long as you know what I did so far. Don't memorize steps, ne? Just know what to do. Because sometimes when you memorize steps, you can make mistakes. Now, can I show you the step number 4?
Yes.
And the step number 4, I'm going to explain it now. Remember, so far we dealt with the cost price. Remember, step number 1?
We transfer the costs of
And then
assets.
number 2, we did, yes, number 2, we did the depreciation. Number 3, we transferred to accumulated, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now we must check. Remember, we did sell the asset.
Yes.
So now we deal with the selling price of that asset. So we dispose. Remember, we can either sell on credit or for cash or by trading in. Remember, as long as you got rid of an asset, we say asset disposal. That's why here on my step number 4, I said dispose of assets either by selling for cash or on credit or by trading it or allowing the owner to take over. Because sometimes the owner can take the asset as own for own use. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So in our case, how did we sell? How did we dispose? Let's go and check. Out of these things that I wrote here, cash, credit, trading in, the owner took over. Let's go back and check ours. How did we dispose the asset? I'm going to give it to you. Tell me, how did you dispose the asset?
We sold it on credit.
We sold it on credit. That is very much important because next time you can sell for cash. Next time you can trade in. Next time the owner can take over. So I want you to write these notes down so that you can know what accounts are you going to use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
When you sell for cash, what do you think will be the account? I'm just asking you. Which account are you going to use?
Bank.
Bank, perfect. When you sell on credit, what do you think? What do you call the people to whom you sold on credit?
The creditor.
No, creditors you buy from them. I'm talking about
Oh,
selling now.
debit. The debitor.
Come again?
The debitor.
I'm waiting. What do you call those people to whom you sold on credit?
Debitor.
Debtors control. Write it down.
Okay.
Are you still?
Yes.
Can I give you another one?
Yes.
Sometimes you will trade in. When you trade in, it means, remember, you normally give out your asset, ne?
Mm-hmm.
And then you will pay the person that you bought from the remaining amount if the asset is not enough to cover. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So trade in the account will be creditors control. When you trade in, will be creditors control.
Creditor control.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
The last one, sometimes you as the owner will take over. When the owner takes over the asset for own use, what are you going to call it?
Drawings.
Drawings, yes. So there are 4 possible things. So you must be careful when you read your question. So you must decide. So in our case, go back to the question, check our question there. Which one are we going to use out of those four?
Debitor control.
Debtors control. Can you see now the importance of doing this? So meaning I must have an account called debtors control. So we sold for how much? For 350, okay? Yes, so I'm gonna open. Remember, the question didn't want you to open, but I'm just saying, what if in future they ask you to do that? So you and I will do everything now so that whatever they ask you, you are ready. So I'm gonna have debtors control. Okay. So now you must apply the rules of accounts equation. You must know what are the debtors control to you so that you can make a decision. What is debtors control to you? Under which group does it fall?
Excuse me?
What is debtors control? Where does it fall? Under which group of accounts does debtors control fall?
Debit.
Okay, I said group, but it's okay. You are correct. I didn't say the side, but it's debit.
Under assets.
Under assets, yes, you are correct. So I'm gonna record on the debit like you said because assets increase on the debit side. Okay, because you sold. So I'm gonna write we sold when January. The first. What will be the details?
Sales. Sales.
No, it can't be sales. Remember, I told you as long as you are still selling the asset. What is that account?
Oh, asset disposal.
Asset disposal. Can you see now? So this will help you. But I like the fact that you said sales, but you're not, remember, you're not selling stock. You only say sales if you are selling inventory. Okay. So as long as the only way, can you see now? So far, I've been saying asset disposal, except depreciation.
Yes.
Yes. So I said asset disposal. That's how I must put it. So before I forget, I must take it to the asset disposal under which side?
Under credit side.
Under the credit side. Okay, I'm going to go there. And then what must I write? The date is still the same, but what is the details?
Debitor control.
Perfect. I'm telling you, this thing is not that difficult, just it needs time, but I think you're okay so far, you're okay. Can you see now? So I want you to know how to relate all these things.
Okay.
Can you see now? So now the only thing that is left, because if you can check, let's recap. So far, remember we're dealing only with the asset that you sold. So firstly, we dealt with our cost. Remember the cost? After cost, what did you deal with?
With transfer.
No, tell me specifically what we dealt with the cost, and thereafter we dealt with what?
The depreciation.
Accumulated depreciation.
Yes.
And now we dealt with the selling price. Can you see now we deal with them separately? Cost, accumulated depreciation, and then thereafter we deal with what? The selling price.
The selling price.
Can you see now? So the last step, which we need to, which is going to be step number what? Step number 5, ne?
Yes.
So remember, when we sell, in the process, we can sometimes make what? Loss, and sometimes we make what?
Profit.
profit. So now we need to go and check if we made profit or
Lost.
loss. So that is step number 5. I don't know if it's visible enough there. Step number 5, we check whether we made profit or loss.
Or lost.
Okay. Now, let's go. You can only know if you made profit or loss by balancing the asset disposal. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
You can only know if you made profit or loss by balancing what? The asset disposal.
The
Can you see
asset
now? Now
disposal.
let's come and balance. Remember how to balance the accounts? What is the first step?
Yes. We total the debit and the credit
And
on their
then,
own, and then after
yes.
that we minus
No,
the
before you do
less.
that, before you do that, remember you need to make a decision before you can add those ones. Yes, you can add and check the amount. So after adding, what must you do? What must you do before you minus? Okay, just take me through the step. Okay, balance it for me. Tell me what to do.
We calculate the total for the debit side and the credit side,
Okay, tell me what to
and
write.
then um,
I think you forgot the most important step. You decide
okay.
which side is the biggest first.
Oh, yeah.
So decide which side is the biggest. I don't know which side is the biggest.
Um, it's the credit side.
How much is it?
46,330.
Hey, when you say that, you confuse me a bit. Is 410 just
46,
46?
yeah, 3300.
And then what is the next step?
We minus the biggest side. We minus the credit side minus the debit side. We
Okay.
find the difference.
And then where must I put that difference? How much is it?
The difference will go on the debit side. It's 33,300.
23 or 33?
33,300.
No, double check. I think it's
Okay.
23, not 33. Just double
Okay,
check. Maybe I'm
no,
wrong.
it's 23.
Huh?
23. 23.
300. Ne?
Yes.
Okay. And the date for this must be at the end. So just say Feb, May, and then if the difference is on the debit side, this will mean that you made a profit. Profit on sale of vehicle. Okay, that's how you put it. So because this side is more than this side, so you're gonna say profit on sale of vehicle, and then GJ like that. So if this debit side was the biggest, meaning the difference will be on the credit. What are you gonna call it?
The loss.
Loss in
Loss
full. Tell me.
on sale. Loss on
Loss.
sales of vehicle.
Yes,
On
you must
sales
write it
of
like that.
vehicle.
Yes. Can you see now? So you must know that this side is always profit and this side is always a loss.
The loss. Okay.
Okay. Remember for this test, for this assignment question, that one, they only asked you to open what?
An asset disposal.
They only wanted this account. But can you see it has been affected by too many accounts?
Yes.
Yeah. But in a nutshell, it will never change. The cost of an asset will always be on the debit. Accumulated will always be on the credit. Debtors will always be on the credit. Even remember, sometimes it can be, if it's not debtors, it will be what? Tell me once again.
If it's not debtor, it's gonna be creditor control or drawings.
Or
Or creditor control or drawings. Debtor control.
there are four of them. Is debtors control, creditors control, drawings, and
Yes, I forgot the other one. I didn't write it.
bank when you sell for cash.
Oh yeah, bank.
So you need to be careful there. But it will never change. So if they ask you for only asset disposal, just come here and put the cost of the asset that you selling. Can you see the cost here? And you put accumulated here, you put debtors control here or bank. And then depending on the size, it can either be profit or loss.
Yes. Okay.
But because we said profit or loss, this is an account. You must go and open profit or on sale of asset. They can ask you to open that account.
Okay.
So if they ask you to open that account, let's see if I can have space for it. Unfortunately, I don't have space for it. But if I may ask you, let's say if I may ask you to open that, under which side of the profit on sale are you going to record this amount of 23?
On the credit side.
On the credit side, okay. Let's do this. But you will be able to open. Okay, let's quickly open it because I just want you to. Okay, it's gonna be something like this. If they ask you, and obviously they're gonna ask you profit on sale of assets. Okay, you said under which side?
Credit side.
Credit side. What will I write here as details?
Asset disposal.
Yes. Just like that. Yes. Can you see now? It's not that difficult. Can you see now? It's gonna look like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So it's not that difficult. That's what I'm saying. With time, practice, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it.
Yeah. But I do understand. I can make it.
If you understand at least, eh? So the other thing that you were supposed to do on this one, can you see this short question? It took us how long? And then you know how to balance the account, like the vehicle, you just have to come and say balance carried down, balance brought down. Can you be able to do that on your own?
Yes. I can balance.
Even this one, balance carried down, balance brought down.
Yes.
So balancing, I trust you can do that. So we're just
And if they
answering. They don't
ask
know.
for the if they ask for the to do the GJ, the general journal, are they gonna
Yes,
ask
they
like
can.
do the general journal for the what those these accounts that we opened here, all these accounts, or is it gonna be only for the specific account?
Sometimes they do ask
Maybe like
you.
for asset disposal only, as they ask here in the
Yeah, they
University
can ask
first.
you for yes, they can ask you for the asset disposal only, but usually they just say do the general. But normally they're very specific, ne? Like in this
Mm-hmm.
case, they said pertaining to the sale. They only want for the asset disposal. Can you see now? So it's almost
Okay.
everything. So we can do it. You remember, just to show you, because they do like it in the
Yes.
exam, and you can see
So
how many marks are here. Can
10.
we try it?
Yes, let's try.
Okay. Um, as long as you're okay with the ledger for now. So I did give you the remember I did give you the format for the general, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So it's not gonna be hectic. Remember the steps which we have been following all along.
Yes.
So if I may ask you, what was the first step that we had to do?
To transfer the cost of assets
I
from
like that.
asset account to asset disposal.
Yes. Can you see now? It is important here to note that. So when we were transferring the cost, what were the two accounts involved? Because that will help us a lot.
Asset disposal
And
and accumulated depreciation.
now I'm not talking about depreciation. I'm talking about the first step. We did the first step. We never calculated depreciation.
The vehicle account.
Yes. So the two accounts, vehicle account and asset disposal. Are we together?
Asset, yes.
You still follow the same procedure. Now, between the asset disposal and the vehicle, which account must be debited and which account must be credited? Just visualize the accounts which we did. So under vehicle, we went under which side?
Debit side.
So meaning here, when I come here on the debit side, I'm gonna write what? The vehicles. Can you see now? Can you see
Yes.
now?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'm gonna credit what?
Asset disposal.
Asset disposal. It's just the same thing in a different format. And you just have to record that cost. I think the cost was 440, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You see, just like that. And then what you need to do, you just have to put something called, they like them. They like what you call narrations. I think you know narrations. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
So what can you say in short? How can you summarize this?
Transfer of transfer. Can we say transfer of the cost of assets?
Yes, you can do that. Transfer of the assets costs or vehicle cost, to be specific. It doesn't matter as long as it makes sense. That's how you need to, because sometimes they do need the narrations. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just for the sake of simplicity, let me just write next to it here and say, can you see it like this? Eh? So because just to show that we're doing the same thing. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yes.
Hmm. So from step one, where did we go? We went to step two. Is where we dealt with what? Accumulated depreciation.
Depreciation.
Remember? So we can first deal with me. Let's deal with the depreciation for the year. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
So with the depreciation for the year, what were the two accounts?
Accumulate depreciation and depreciation.
I like that. I like that. So which account must I debit and which account must I create?
We debit depreciation.
Perfect. Then we
Credit
have to create accumulated
depreciation.
Okay. Okay. And the amount was 29,700 or something like that.
29,700.
Okay. Not bad. So narration, you can just say depreciation for the year. No?
Yes.
It's up to you. You can just say depreciation for the year. Just like that. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
The
Okay.
next step, number 3, what do you think we can do?
It is the selling. Can we do the selling?
Not the selling. The selling was the fourth one. So it's when we transfer. Remember when we transferred the total accumulated depreciation there. Remember where we had to do the calculation and add things together. Remember that?
Oh yeah, the accumulated depreciation.
Yes, and
No. The previous accumulate and
yes, but I want the 2 accounts involved for that amount. Under which accounts are you gonna record?
asset disposal,
And
accumulate depreciation.
which one to debit, which one to credit?
We debit asset disposal.
I don't remember doing that.
No, we credit asset disposal.
And we debit
Accumulate depreciation.
how much was it?
113300.
Okay. So can you see it's the same thing that we did, just that the format is different.
Yes.
What was step number 4?
The selling.
2 accounts, please. Which one to debit, which one to credit?
Asset disposal
And
and vehicle.
no.
Oh, asset disposal and creditors control.
No.
And debtors control. Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is debited? Which one is credited?
The debitors control is debitors
Okay.
and asset disposal is creditors.
Okay.
Mhm.
Last step.
The last step, the profit and loss.
Profit and loss. What are the two accounts?
Uh, Profit and loss and asset disposal.
Which one has been debited and which one has been credited?
Profit and loss is creditors and asset disposal is debited.
How much was the amount?
23. No, yeah, 23. 23, yes.
That's how the GJ will look like for that. So if you can check, whatever we did here is the same things. These are the same things which we did under general ledger accounts.
Yes.
So most students find this confusing.
Yeah, it is, but yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So maybe after you practice, maybe it's gonna make sense to you.
Yes, I will practice more tonight.
Mm, tonight.
Mhm.
So I know there's still a lot to do because I can sense that because we took our 2 hours, so I can sense that you need a little bit of rest. I don't know what you think. Gonna take a break, or are you okay
Yeah.
for the test? Or
No, I will still need more up. Let me just try to practice, and also I have things to do right now. I will go do, and then after that I'll come back maybe by 3, no, by 4 or 5.
mm, remember,
Then
yeah,
I will,
you will tell you will tell me because remember we still have to do this
yes,
for the same
uh-huh,
exercise because they can ask you. Can you see now?
yes,
So when you come back, we're gonna finish this one, and thereafter, if you still need, because remember you still have to do what you call the financial statements. Remember this?
yes, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
it's
state,
okay. Statements. Remember this?
yes, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
it's
state,
okay.
yes.
So, but just take it easy.
When
Remember, don't. Mm, you will tell me. Eh?
All right, so thank you so
No,
much.
no problem. Later. Eh?
Okay, thank you.